Alright, this is Surprise once again, and this is a request assigned for Sadie. And the name of this video is SpongeBob's Real Life Murder. Okay, let's check it out. Yay.
The person we all refer to as Squidward was arrested under the influence.
While SpongeBob is primarily a TV show made for children, there are a surprising number of crimes related to this cast of sea creatures.
What?
Being released at the tail end of the 1990s, the animated series SpongeBob SquarePants was a surprise hit, becoming not just the most popular show on Nickelodeon, but one of the most popular shows of all time. It captured the imaginations of people the world over, with critics and fans alike praising the series for its lighthearted and sometimes surreal sense of humor. Of course, with something this popular, there are bound to be tragedies that unfortunately become associated with the cartoon.
I heard about the Invader Zim one, that one's fucked up.
Justine Johnson was, by all accounts, the embodiment of the young mother stereotype. At just 23 years of age, she already had a 3-year-old daughter named Sutton Marie, who she cared for in their hometown of Uscoda, Michigan. While from the outside she appeared to be a relatively normal and competent mother, on the inside, Justine struggled with severe mental health issues. At just the age of 13, she was said to have been diagnosed with bipolar disorder, borderline personality disorder, general anxiety, and ADHD, all of which began to chip away at her psyche over the next decade. In addition to this, she picked up an incredibly damaging addiction to heroin and methamphetamines, which not only exacerbated her already damaging mental health issues, but also allegedly caused her to hallucinate and lose her grip on the difference between fantasy and reality. She had gone months without her prescription medication, and the combination of her pre-existing conditions and crippling drug addiction were enough to drive her to lunacy. While her family and friends knew about her struggles, they had absolutely no idea the extent to which it was affecting her, making the following events that would occur all the more tragic. On September 17, 2021, when Justine's brother came to visit her at around 4 a.m., he immediately noticed something was off. When he entered the home, he made a horrifying discovery. What appeared to be a child's foot poking out from a trash can.
Oh,
when
shit.
authorities arrived, they confirmed the already apparent truth.
It wasn't.
Justine's 3-year-old daughter, had been stabbed to death by her own
my
mother.
god.
It's important to keep
That's
in
fucked
mind
up.
that through all of this, Justine was nowhere to be seen, and police soon launched a search in an effort to bring her to justice. At around 8:30 a.m., 4.5 hours after the body was discovered, the psychotic mother was found wandering aimlessly on a railroad track nearby. When she was arrested and questioned on why she would commit such a heinous crime, she bizarrely stated that SpongeBob had spoken to her directly through her television screen and pressured her to
Not another
kill her
Randy
daughter.
Stair
She
situation.
explained that if she had not done what she did, the cartoon Sponge had told her that he would kill her as a punishment, which was enough to convince her to commit the insidious act. The murder devastated
Not another Randy Stair and Chris Chan situation.
and shocked not only her family, but her entire community. Never before had any of them witnessed a crime so disgustingly cruel, all of them in disbelief that such an event occurred in their relatively small town. Justine would spend the following years sobering up and being given treatment to stabilize her condition so that she would not only be able to stop experiencing her hallucinations, but also recognize the gravity of what she had done and properly stand trial. Through extreme therapy and other mental health treatments, Justine was eventually able to come to terms with the reality of her actions, and it completely destroyed her. While she claimed she had absolutely no knowledge or recollection of actually killing her daughter, she still acknowledged that she had been the one who committed the crime, and pleaded guilty to all counts. Her case, of course, garnered little sympathy from the legal system due to the sheer severity and brutality of the crime, and she was subsequently sentenced to a life in prison without the possibility of parole.
I pray that she is in God's hands, that she has forgiven you, and that we will be united again. I love you, Sutton.
This unfortunate and disturbing case was
3 years old. That's fucked up, man.
Who all were in shock at the absurdity that her reasoning for killing her toddler was based on the words of a cartoon character. But despite the strangeness of her initial defense, the case still remains as a shocking and saddening example of how a lack of mental health treatment and drug abuse can corrupt even a mother to commit some of the most despicable acts one could possibly think of. But while this case is notable for its attachment to the cartoon sponge, it is far from the only example of a crime related to the character. We'll learn more about this after a brief word from our sponsor. When scrolling through news headlines on your phone, it's very clear to see that a lot of journalists and publications aren't very trustworthy. A lot of people have difficulty knowing who to trust and who they shouldn't, which is where ground news comes to play. This is a news aggregator that allows you to stay informed and also know who you should trust and who you shouldn't. Let's say you're looking for stories about crypto degenerates. Well, this app allows you to go through multiple headlines about the same subject and see which ones are left-leaning, which ones are right-leaning, and which ones are in the center. It really helps you see through the motives of the mainstream media sources and recognize bias and manipulation in action. On top of that, it will give you updates when there are new stories about a subject that interests you. So let's say you want to know more about SpongeBob SquarePants, where you could add it to your list of topics of interest, and then it will notify you every single time something pops up. I truly believe that ground news helps you develop your ability to communicate, analyze and discern what's really going on by gaining a deeper understanding of the complexity and nuance of different issues, all by comparing media narratives. As a YouTuber that tries their best to be fair and balanced when covering subjects, it allows me to read, watch, and share stories from different places. And with that, I'm not just swayed by one publication that makes me a propaganda machine. So I implore everyone watching this video right now to go to ground.news/GFM so they can compare stories for themselves. And again, the link will be in the description down below. 5 years prior to the stabbing of Sutton Marie on July 16, 2016, an argument between two men would break out in the small town of Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. Robert S. Lee, who was in his late 30s, began to argue with another man by the name of Jamal Britton in the Century Village housing complex at 5 o'clock in the morning. Jamal had been kicked out by Keishia Jacobs, the mother of his child, after he had become extremely intoxicated by his excessive drinking. Lee, who had been smoking a cigarette outside, soon engaged with the other man in a disagreement. As the debate became more and more heated, the final straw seemed to be when Britton insulted Lee by comparing his appearance to SpongeBob. Eyewitnesses later stated that this had enraged Lee so much that he took out a knife and attacked Britton, viciously stabbing him in the process, and slicing his kidneys and several vital arteries. As he bled out, Jamal stumbled into a nearby playground and was soon found and taken to the hospital. Despite doctors' best efforts, his injuries proved to be fatal, and Jamal later died at the Geisinger Medical Center. In the aftermath of the stabbing, Lee had driven off and thrown the knife into a local river in an attempt to discard the evidence. But this proved to be a futile gesture as police caught up with him and not long after. During his trial, Lee attempted to defend himself by saying he was under the assumption Jamal had been carrying a gun, as he had approached him with both hands in his pockets as if he was hiding something. He was officially convicted of the murder nearly a year later, with it still being a mystery as to why he was so offended by Jamal's comparison of him to a sponge. While that case was of a criminal who apparently hated the iconic cartoon character, the next involves possibly one of the series' biggest fans. Edward Price was a serial burglar from Tulsa, Oklahoma, who allegedly committed 5 burglaries over the course of several months, stealing numerous expensive electronic items such as tablets and internet routers. While he proved elusive at first, a pattern was beginning to emerge among all the robberies. The victims who had caught a glimpse of the man all stated that he was wearing an extremely recognizable pair of SpongeBob socks and shorts, an unusual getup that made a lasting impression. Unfortunately for him, after he attempted to sell the stolen merchandise on Facebook Marketplace, police noticed the distinctive pair of socks in the background of his photos and began to investigate further. In addition to this, Price had a pre-existing arrest record for burglary, with the only reason he hadn't been convicted being that key witnesses failed to appear to testify. This made him a likely suspect in the thefts, and on September 16, 2022, police served Price with a warrant for his arrest at the Waterside apartment complex. When they searched his home, they found the exact pair of SpongeBob shorts in his dryer. Like Icarus flying too close to the sun, Price allowed his love for the cartoon to ruin him, and after most of the electronics were returned to their proper owners, he was handed over to the legal system for his punishment. The Tulsa Police Department would later create a Facebook post joking about the incident, with many baffled at the sheer stupidity and carelessness that had led to Price's arrest. While some SpongeBob fans have been the perpetrators of crimes, others have sadly also been the victims. Sir Amani Clark was a 9-year-old boy living in Las Vegas, Nevada. On the night of March 14, 2023, the young child was at home in his family's apartment, watching SpongeBob with his little brother, Honor Tate. Their mother, Justine Tate, was in the next room with some other family members, believing her boys to be perfectly safe and sound. None of them could have predicted the horrible events that would follow. All of a sudden, the sound of gunshots ripped through the quiet evening. Panicking, the adults quickly rushed into the other room to check on the brothers, but it was already too late. Honor laid on the floor in pain, with a bullet hole punctured through his leg. Sir Amani, on the other hand, had tragically passed away from the injuries he suffered. With both the family and community reeling from this shocking turn of events, many wondered how something like this could have happened. It wouldn't take police long to turn up answers upon starting their investigation. According to them, the family's neighbor had been the one responsible. He had allegedly been showing off his gun and accidentally pulled the trigger, sending bullets flying through the wall into the apartment next door. While authorities have yet to name the suspect publicly, they claim he was already a convicted felon, who should not have had access to a firearm in the first place. While time will tell what his verdict and sentence will be, it will never undo the trauma caused by Sir Amani's tragic death. Although most of the stories discussed today have been related to people who simply watch SpongeBob, those involved with the show have also gotten into some trouble as well. Since its inception, the role of SpongeBob's perpetually annoyed neighbor, Squidward Tentacles, has been portrayed by actor Roger Bumpus. With the child-ferment reputation of his most famous character,
What
it
did
came
he
as a
do?
surprise to many fans when scandal befell their beloved performer. On the night of January 15, 2016, the police spotted a blue PT Cruiser parked in the middle of a road in Burbank, California, with an intoxicated-looking man leaning against it. That man, as it soon turned out, was Bumpus. When the cops attempted to speak with him,
That's
he
creepy.
allegedly tried to stumble away,
Never knew
not
Squidward
making
looked
it
like
far
that.
in his inebriated state. After performing their tests, the authorities discovered the actor's blood alcohol level to be twice the legal limit, resulting in them arresting him on charges of driving under the influence. But according to Bumpus, not everything was as it seemed. Soon after being released from custody on $15,000 bail, he claimed that police had been lying about the details of the incident. As he told the story, they had not caught him leaning against his vehicle, but instead pulled him over as he was driving home from the bar. One detail that he did confirm was that he had been drunk and blown over the legal limit. To the majority of onlookers, this seems strange. In the history of arrestees disagreeing with police over the facts of the case, very few people have ever tried to make themselves seem more guilty. In subsequent interviews, Bumpus confirmed that his biggest fear was that Nickelodeon would fire him over the infraction. While the network hesitated to comment on the situation publicly for a short time, they soon confirmed that the actor would not be going anywhere. Even to this day, Roger Bumpus continues to provide the voice of Squidward, and this whole ordeal is barely a blip on his public image. Other people who got pulled over for SpongeBob-related crimes would not be so lucky though. On January 23, 2023, police in Garforth, Leeds stopped a car which they suspected to be operated by a dealer of illegal substances. Their suspicions only grew deeper when they discovered large stacks of cash in the back seats, leading to them arresting the driver on suspicion of violating the Proceeds of Crimes Act. Upon further investigation, authorities were led to a house and in which they found even more money, as well as a large amount of cannabis. Interestingly, these drugs were discovered wrapped up in bundles, each marked with stickers depicting SpongeBob SquarePants.
Wow.
It's unclear if this was some sort of code
creepy.
or if the dealers were simply fans of the show. Regardless, this bust led to the arrest of a second offender. It seems as though drug dealers across the globe enjoy watching Nickelodeon. On May 24, 2016, police officers in Boston stopped a man walking down the street carrying bags of crack cocaine. After some questioning, he pointed them in the direction of a parked car further down the road. Police tailed the vehicle for a short while, observing them selling drugs to various walk-up customers. This was all the proof they needed, and they soon approached the suspects in order to make their arrests. But these men were not willing to go down without a fight. Issa Gorman, the man sitting in the passenger seat, allegedly began punching and kicking the officers, but he was soon overpowered and detained alongside his accomplice, Doral Hilton, who had also been driving the car without a valid license. Upon searching the vehicle, police found $1,400 in cash, alongside 25 bags of crack and 6 bars of marijuana, all
Jeez.
stored inside a SpongeBob backpack.
Wow.
So there you have some crimes related to the internet's favorite sponge. And with that, I think we'll end the video here. So until next time, thanks for watching.
Those were insane, man. I remember the Invader Zim type of crime, but that was the first one, man. That's some fucked up shit. Poor Squidward. But yeah. Let me know if you've seen these. And yeah, I want to thank y'all for watching. Take care. Stay tuned for one more video coming after I eat my food. I can get Uber orders now, so I'm gonna go eat my chicken sandwich and my tater tots. And I'll see you all in the next video, which will be a good one. Not reaction, but it'll be a good one. It'll be Megan related. Guess what that is. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace out.